So I'd like to thank you all for coming today. My name is Emma. I am one of the city's waste education officers as we talk about this very important topic of sustainability, the 3-bin system. I've already introduced myself, but we have here today some other members of the project team. Amber is our project officer, who's been greatly involved in all of the things we're doing. Jean-Marie, who is our senior project officer. And just over in the corner is the waste services manager, Scott Cairns. And today we're going to be talking you through where the project started, where we're going to, and a little bit in between. So I'll hand over to you now, Amber. Take it away.
What's changing and why? So this is where we have begun with our 2-bin system for commingled recyclables and general waste. Now, the first step in our journey has been to change the general waste bin lids from the current dark green to red. So our contractor has mostly completed doing the swaps of these general waste bin lids. All properties were also given the opportunity to request a smaller general waste bin if they so wished. So those properties and any properties who have been missed during the red lid swap or had incompatible bins that we weren't able to change the lids on, they will have their either new bin or red lid changed over from the middle of July, throughout July and August. So that's what's that's what we see now out on the curb. The next step has been the delivery of our 240-litre garden organics bins. So these bins are for things like leaves, twigs and grass clippings. So we're moving our garden organics out of the general waste bin and separating them now into this garden organics bin. So properties who are sized 400 square metres or larger automatically receive this garden organics bin, and properties who are smaller than 400 square metres were given the opportunity to opt in to receive one of these bins also. Our contractor is currently delivering these bins, and we're probably halfway through delivering to those who have requested or those who will automatically receive one. Now our bulk green services and bulk junk services remain unchanged, even with the introduction of the garden organics bin. So the bulk green service has actually concluded for this year, but the bulk junk has just commenced at the end of May. So the bulk junk is unchanged at this stage.
Thank you, Amber. Okay, so why did we introduce 3 bins? Well, it's quite obvious. Landfills do fill up very quickly. They take up a lot of airspace. And if we introduce 3 bins, we can separately collect waste and then turn it into a valuable resource. Like that. Or you can later on have a closer look at the packaging over here in the front, or like that.
Like
yes. There you go. Okay. Historically in Perth, landfills were built on wetlands, and people thought it's cheap land and it's only where mosquitoes breed. And to be more efficient, local councils got together and opened up a landfill called Tamala Park in 1991, which is now managed by the Mandari Regional Council. But burying waste is obviously not a good thing all the time, and it leads to other consequences like emitting greenhouse gases. So organic waste that goes to landfill generates methane gas, which is a greenhouse gas, which is 20% more toxic than carbon dioxide. And rotting rubbish also turns into liquid. So if a landfill is not managed properly, it can actually leak or escape. And that is why in 1995, the state government was told that no new landfills will be built on the Swan coastal plain. New approaches to waste management sees us recovering valuable products like garden organics and turning it into a valuable resource. In the next slide, you're going to see a short video of what is actually going to happen to your garden organics waste once it's collected from the curb.
So we've seen already the environmental reasons as to why we're doing, the City of Wanneroo is doing what it's doing. It's right to get things out of landfill, it's right to try and make products rather than just waste these things and make them an issue. And those are the environmental reasons, and it's morally the right thing to do. There are two other reasons as well, though, why the City of Wanneroo is doing what it's doing. One, cost savings. We look to try and see if we can provide services to everyone as well as we can, and we try to give people the best value for their waste service charge, which they're paying at this point in time. By getting the materials, taking the materials out of the general waste bin and putting them into the garden organics bin, we reduce the cost to the ratepayer. We're saving more than 7 figures a year in disposal costs. However, that is offset by having to go and deliver a new service with new bins and everything else, but it more than balances out. And in the longer term, it will save money more as well, as the government looks to go and increase the waste levy, which it puts onto landfills and everything that goes into landfills. So we see this as a long-term thing and something which is going to give good value to the ratepayer. As you can see, put the materials in there, rather than into the general waste bin, the dollar gets smaller. It's as simple as that. The second reason why we're doing it as well is the community actually wants it. We did a survey of residents in 2018 prior to us doing a full service delivery review in 2019. And in that survey, we asked everyone whether they would like a green waste bin provided to them, and also a FOGO bin. You heard Jean-Marie mentioning earlier that we wanted to have a FOGO service. Unfortunately, we're unable to get that at this point in time, or we would have delivered that. But still, 75% of everyone that responded, and there were almost 1,200 residents who responded to that survey, said that they wanted a go bin. It was actually 87%, I think, who wanted a FOGO response. So unfortunately, we couldn't do it at that point in time, but we plan to do it in the future. And the good thing is, you heard Amber mentioning earlier that we've already changed the red lids over. We've given out green bins. We will be going back to go and give new, smaller red bins, red-lidded bins, and replacement red lid bins as well. And the response from the community has been quite good. People understand that it's the right thing to do morally, and it's something which most of them responded they wanted us to do initially. So we received our first materials this week from the first green bins that were picked up. I have to say that the response from those households who we received the materials from and how they've used the bins which they've been presented with has been quite good. A little bit of improvement, and there will always be improvement to try and get contamination down and get people to understand how to use it, but it's been used really well initially, and it's something which through Emma and our colleagues as well, when it comes to waste education, that the city will try and help residents do the right thing and understand how to use the service as we move forward in the years ahead. So it's been a good start, but it's something we need to keep moving on and moving forward with and get better.
So obviously we need to start the next phase of the journey. We've got the bins out there, but now we need to help you get your waste in the right place. So one of the questions we've got, well, two main questions. What do I put in the bins? And when do I put them out for collection? So let's start with the getting them collected. If you jump onto the city's website now and visit the city's waste page, you've got a handy dandy little widget here that allows you to type in your address and boom. It tells you when your next bulk waste collections are. It tells you when your next bulk green waste collections are. It tells you what bin day is, and you don't need to follow the person down the street. It tells you when your next recycling week, next garden organics week is with the date as well. So that's all there for you. We also, if you are more into something more calendar-like, this digital version is available on the city's website. So whatever suburb you're in, you can get that, and we will have hard copies available for collection at other locations such as the Civic Centre and libraries as the rollout progresses. So we know when our bins are getting collected. Excellent. Are we getting the right stuff in? So we've got a fantastic app called Recycle Right that we have access to. You can go on there, and if there's a question that you have, you just type it in and it will tell you what bin to put it in, or if you don't put it in a bin at all. If tech creeps you out a little bit, that's okay, I don't judge. We have delivered to every single household that is receiving a garden organics bin. This should look very familiar to you by now, the new Waste Services Guide. We didn't want those people who aren't receiving a garden organics bin to miss out, so some people had this mailed to them in late May. with the information inside. It's chock full of information, as well as a handy quick reference guide if you just want to know straight away what bin to put it in. So that is also there to help you out. And then if you're someone who prefers more of a face-to-face type thing, such as the people that we've got here today, we are also available to come and do community waste education. So we will go to schools, we will go to Country Women's Association's meetings, which are always very nice because they make delicious food. We have also been working very closely with our culturally and linguistically diverse community, with 1 in 5 households not having English as their first language. It's a really big area that we need to tap into. So we have received funding from the State Waste Authority to be able to produce this innovative resource, and we have been working closely with community leaders in that respect, as well as working with our schools. So if you happen to know anybody that wants to talk rubbish with us, get in touch with the city and we can do that. And because you're here today, we're going to talk a little bit of rubbish with these fantastic bins over here. Now, I don't want anyone to worry. No bin you're getting delivered is this small. Okay, the bigger ones just don't fit in the back of my car. So we'll start off with the brand new fantastic garden organics bin. So this is what's going to happen. You've got your beautiful, nice, bigger garden organics bin at home. You're mowing the lawn, your lawn clippings are going in there. You're pruning your branches, you can put that one in. You can put this one in. Now, if it's too big and sticks out the top of the lid, that's a clear indication to you that it is too long. We can accept branches up to 1 metre long. Your bin is not taller than 1 metre. And basically about the width of your arm, okay? So we'll take this one out. Maybe you need to snap that in half or take it down to Wangara Greens, put it out for greens collection. I'm going to leave that one there. Also things like weeds, branches, all of those things, the things that have grown. Remember, once we've taken this away, it's being turned into a useful product. Things like plastics, things like glass, they do not make very good potting mix. So please do not put those kinds of things into your garden organics bin. It says what it takes, that's what we need. So we'll leave that one there because that's the destination. Moving on to the try this again. Moving on to the recycling bin, which usually gets everybody's a bit nervous. It's not that hard if you simply recycle the 5. So up here we've got 5 different items you can pop in. Aluminium and steel cans, pretty easy. You've got your Milo tins. It's a bit noisy. We've got aluminium cans, smaller cans, all fine to go in. Glass bottles and jars. Your wine bottles, bottles like this. You'll notice that they're all empty. Very important, no butts or anything in the bottom there. The one that tricks a lot of people is your plastic bottles and containers. So there's actually quite a lot of plastic bottles and containers. We'll finish that off with that one and go down to the other 2. So clean cardboard and paper. So you've got your egg cartons, you've got your glossy magazines, newspaper, Weetabix, even pizza boxes. The only caveat is it has to be clean going in here. Now, don't try and wash your dirty pizza boxes. It doesn't work. But this one is very lacking in the grease. So that's perfectly fine. If it was dirty and greasy, it would be going in your general waste bin there. Your milk cartons as well. As long as they're not foil lined, your milk cartons are perfectly fine to go in too. And let's go back up to those plastic bottles and containers. We get a bit nervous, but it isn't that bad. Your ice cream containers. Your plastic bottles, just take your lids off. Make sure they're nice and rinsed and empty. And even these kinds of guys. So your plastic strawberry punnets, all of those, perfectly fine. That's nice and clean. Doesn't smell of curry or anything like that, so that's fine. And these are fine to go in. Once our recycling trucks have collected this, they're going to take it away to a sorting facility, and it's going to be sorted into the different categories. They get baled up. They're a commodity, so they're getting sold to different locations, both locally and internationally. And the very exciting thing is that the West Australian Government has invested in paper recycling and plastic recycling and glass bottle-to-bottle recycling. So over the next 5 years, there's going to be some really good things coming out of this. The best thing you can do is keep it loose, clean and empty, and put the right things in. We'll maximise our recycling efforts that way. And finally, the general waste bin. Now, even though our general waste bin has got a different coloured lid, you're still putting the same things in, except for your garden organics, because they're going in their own special bin now. So what are you putting in? Well, you're probably bagging things up. Notice that these two, nice and loose. You can put bags in here, that's fine. So we've got, great, dirty nappies and other assortment of things. That wasn't very good. Maybe someone should have actually eaten that. Obviously, if you've got a worm farm, compost bin, please don't stop doing those things. That's fantastic to do at home. This needs to go in here. It's a no-go in the go bin, right? Dirty tissues, ew. Shredded paper. Clothing that's no good for reuse. If it's fantastic quality, don't throw it away, donate it to someone else who might value it more. Give it a new home, but if it's, been through the ringer, it's no good anymore, that's fine to go into there as well. Even your coffee cups, that's where these need to go. At the moment, these are going to a facility in Neerabup, where as much organic material, and there's not a lot left in there now, is being turned into a soil conditioner product, which isn't quite as good as the stuff that's going into that nice lime green lidded bin. So we need to think about what we're putting into this bin. It doesn't have the best destination, because whatever can't be turned into a soil enhancement product is going to landfill. So keep it in mind that landfill is the last resort. And speaking of things that are a last resort, we often forget about the stuff that doesn't go in any of the bins. There are some things we need to take to special waste drop-off places. Things like our electronic waste, hazardous waste like aerosol cans or fire extinguishers, paints, chemicals, batteries, all of those kinds of things. They don't belong into any of these bins. There's plenty of near drop-off locations to you, and the city's working hard to increase the number of those. And you can find out more by checking out the Recycle Right app or having a look on the city's website where there is more information about this. And that is where you've just had a crash course in everything about the new 3-bin system.